say hello, Lottie. Hello, Marco.
Hello.
It's time that way. It's time to find out, well, how you can actually gain confidence and go on camera yourself. So welcome to the show. And with that, I'll hand you over to your host today, Lottie Hearn and Marco Novo. And I'm going to switch my camera off.
Thank you, Stephen. Marco, I knew he was going to run away from us today. I knew he was going to run away. But mind you, Stephen has been doing brilliantly for the last 2 days. Yesterday was all about repurposing phenomenal conversation between Stephen and David Burrows and Fonz, not the Fonz, but the Fonz Chamberlain, who is a podcast extraordinaire as well. The conversations and links. Did you get to see it yesterday, Marco?
Yeah, I did watch the conversation, and it was very, very nice, because it's one thing. It's I guess it's a sin we all made, not repurposing properly our contents, because live streaming it's a real powerful content, so we should do it.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, really, and I think that's really one of our key topics for today, the what we should be doing, Marco. Because I know, like on Monday as well, I know that when they was talking about, Stephen was with Brigetti talking about planning and getting set to go live, and just creating and what your show should be and could be all about. And I know what the reason that you and I are here is because we had a fantastic chat yesterday. I'm even wearing the same good lucky jumper. Yesterday. All about what I would call confidence on camera confidence, doesn't matter what you call it. And I said to you, doesn't matter. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years, working on television, helping other people learn to be TV presenters, live stream presenters, #lifestyle presenting, confidence on camera coaching, speakers on stage and screen. But the number one issue and fear that people always have is, I don't want to be seen on screen. And Marco, you came up with a lovely phrase that I'd love to kickstart today, is if we're kickstarting with all the fears of why people won't do this or won't even pick up this, you called it the monsters. So tell us a little bit about your monsters that you know from your perspective in the world, and why you're here today as well.
Well, to be honest, I think one of the most monsters is overthinking, because for instance, the other day I was teaching a class. They would become trainers, and someone asked me, and if, and stop. Stop so many ifs, because we overthink, we over the expectations. We put the expectations on the top of the mountain, and it's not about that. Because one thing I used to say when I'm talking about live streaming, when you're starting, not even God is watching you. So stop overthinking.
I love it. And actually, talking of not even God is watching you, but I suppose before we really get into it, Marco, we should say hello and introduce ourselves a little bit. So hello to anybody who's watching us. Normally, there's my phone digging. Let me turn the sound off. Got the timer on, folks. But normally, we would be doing these 5 days live training via Facebook. And Stephen and the team went, hello, let's show that there are different platforms, different ways of doing this, because I know that the platforms and the technical is something in your social media coaching you're often asked about. So what I've seen about you, Marco, is you are one of Portugal's leading social media entrepreneurial coaches, trainers, speakers, and you have thousands of views of your videos on Facebook, on YouTube, and you've been doing this for quite a while, actually training the new generation, next generation of social media presenters on screen and social media marketeers. And I love your, you are known as not the social media marketeer. You're the special Marco-ting show. It's your show because his name's Marco.
Yeah. I made the blend there.
Matching the brand. So while we're saying hello to everybody who's joined us here on YouTube, yes, it is YouTube. And for anybody watching in Facebook, if you're catching the replay later, thank you. We thank you first of all. So Marco, tell us a little bit more about you before we get into it then.
Well, as you may see or listen by my accent, I'm Portuguese. So it's one of the monsters I overcome. I'm not speaking my native language. It's not Portuguese, but it's not a problem for me because I don't overthink. I started doing my freelance thing in 2014 or something, and then I understand that I have a problem a challenge to face, to make my personal brand to get known by the people. I start doing recorded videos because my thing was always the video, because written for me it's a very I get very tired about the process of writing. I think you know what I'm talking about, and I like the impact of the video. It's right here, right now, and then I started recording them. I met the Blab. I made a couple of live streams there. Then Blab went down. I was waiting to Facebook. Yeah, it was very sad. I wait to Facebook allow me to go live. I started. It was an awful live because I had my earphones. Because I one of the things, even on the camera, you don't know where to put your hands. And I was moving and putting, and it's amazing. And then I fell in love with the live streaming, the concept, the things they could bring to you. It's a powerful. I don't see on the digital world a most powerful tool to get known, to people to know you, your brand, and so on. So to meet people, to get friends, because one of the advantages, it was Stephen who reminded me about it. How you get friends from another side of the world, just being here talking with them.
Totally. And yes, and we were also mentioning Robert C. Stern, who was always on the Blab days back then. But it's people like that. As I was one of the co-founders of the first for women by all women community called Ladies Go Live, and the men who support us. And we used to do Man Up Friday, which is the Friday shows when we had our Monday shows for our members. And sadly, because of life happening this year, I've kind of had to pull back from everything as I've been going through health tests and everything, and getting diagnoses this year of multiple sclerosis. But this is actually, and chatting with Brigetti actually, who's living with her pain, this is one tool that I can still use to communicate with other people. I'm still using up energy, because people don't realize that just because we're not in the same room, Marco, the fear is, yes, I've got to be here on screen. I'm learning new fears of, oh gosh, am I going to look totally wiped out? Oh, is my lack of energy going to show? And as my husband always jokes with me, hey, Lottie, 50% of your energy is fine for most people, normal people anyway. But it's that whole learning curve. And I think because you've been training people to use social media, and as you said, you've kind of landed on video being this as a phenomenal tool. This is my world. This has been my world as a professional actress, a TV presenter, luckily started in kids TV. So I learned early on what happens here doesn't really matter, because it's actually all about connecting the fun with the education, the interest, the influence, and the income as part of our business. And for me, I talk about the 3 C's: the confidence, the credibility, and the charisma. And I believe that every single person, no matter what language, no matter what country, having lived and trained speakers and presenters all around the world, everybody has their own style of charisma. And that you mentioned in our chat yesterday about, you called it the pretender syndrome, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, same.
What you mean by that in your world?
Well, it's I guess it's one of the biggest problems when you're starting thinking, at least when you start thinking about creating content. Is my content enough, good enough? It will help someone? Am I a specialist to share, to have the guts to share, to be seen as a specialist? And for me, there's, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, actually, for that, because I think there's 2 big differences between being the really good at what you do, and there's all the conversations about being an expert, being an influencer. But actually, in the professional speaking world, people want to be an influencer, not in the social media, Snapchat, TikTok, Periscope video way, as a social media, is my makeup perfect as a woman kind of influencer. It's an influencer, as my energy health coach says to me, Lottie, stop helping people, because that's a giveaway energy word. You are a guide to empower other people. And that's a phrase I used to use 15, 20 odd years ago and stopped using it because I didn't feel, like you said, felt like I was pretending. Even when I restarted doing this again 8 years ago or so, I felt like I was a bit of an imposter coming back to it because I hadn't been on TV for such a long time. But then I learned that everybody else at the time was new, and that, woohoo, in the blab days, we all just went out there and had fun. And I think that was one thing I learned with you yesterday. So tips, Marco, from you about how people overcome the monsters for the imposter syndrome, pretender syndrome.
Well, to think about it's for me, it's a kind of mantra that I used to say to people. And for instance, this little thing about some issue, some topic could be this to someone who doesn't know anything. So maybe because most of the people that say to me, "Oh, I don't know at all. I don't know enough. I'm not a specialist." I start, "Oh, well, let's talk about it." And at the end, I used to say to them almost all the time, "And you told me that you don't know anything. Go to hell." That's it. That's one thing. Another thing for me, it's very important. It's when you're starting, and we understand that our way, it's an improvement. You have a step-by-step stair. So you should do it. It's for sure. If you want to become a specialist, you should be aware that you are learning all the day, you are improving all the day. That's for sure. But one thing is also for sure for me. When you're starting, your language, it's more close to the people who knows less than you. I mean, if you become a guru, specialist, top of my head, maybe you could not make yourself clear to those who are really, really under. I mean, if you are starting now, you are in a closest language to those who doesn't know anything about it. So they may understand you better than others because they are on another stage. And
I love that, because that actually links in perfectly. And I'm laughing while you're speaking. This was one of my birthday presents from my best friend, who she and I do projects together. I was her confidence on camera coach, helping her set up her online programs 6-7 years ago. And she found this one. my brain has too many tabs open because she knows my computer always has 50 million tabs open at the top. And I've always got 3,000 emails, and she's a productivity coach. So she's always like, you're doing this to me. The reason I love it is, and I'm mentioning it, is because this is the kind of statement. If you overthink everything you do, like Marco was just saying, or if you think too in depth and too detailed about it, you can get hung up in your own language and acronyms. A CEO could be a chief executive officer. It could be the chief entertainment organizer. Different people have different meanings. So it's always, I love the fact that one of the first things you said, and one of the first tips you gave me, which is the second point I want to come into in a moment, is about keeping things simple, keeping your language simple for the level that you are doing the show at today, right here, right now. We don't know actually who's watching us live, but you and I are here having a chat, fitting to a conversation because they told us on Monday plan. So we've got a plan of 5 steps for 5 things we're going to talk about today. First of all was the monsters and the fears. But overcoming the tips that you were saying, Marco, is start easily. What do you mean then, if we've got our mindset into the right place, that we can go ahead and step on camera and do this? We can just pick up our devices. If we know the technology, how do we start easily?
Well, forget about a fancy webcam, a fancy microphone. Just buy a tripod. I have one here. Well, escaped. But with your cell phone, it's a nice way to start over. The sound is good enough. The camera is more than good enough, because I used to say, today with 100 euros cell phone, you have a better camera than you had on the other century.
Marco, then on that one, is it better for me to be using this camera, or is it better to use this camera? What do you think in Portugal for products? Because we'd always say this is the better camera. If you can learn how to frame yourself so that you're actually on screen and you're seen on camera, and you learn that rather than looking down and getting double chins, holding it up and looking up to the camera. This is always a slightly better angle and a slightly nicer view so this camera is better than this camera.
Yeah, it is. But you have a problem with that. You don't see the comments coming up.
True. See, I don't even think of that. I'm so blind anyway. I can't see comments on this. The writing's too small for me. So I always have to have another device sitting over here.
So,
and actually, even right now, I'm not sure if you're watching, but I can't see any comments coming up here in Be Live, if anybody is commenting. But so I'm just going to, while Marco gets onto his tips on how to get confident fast, I'm going to jump over to the YouTube channel and see if we've got any comments there. Hey, Sebastian,
Sebastian, how are you?
and so Marco, tell us, what would be your couple of top tips of how you can start easy? So number 1 was, hey, use this. You don't have to have top range equipment.
Choose a topic, a simple one, and you will talk by your experience, by your heart, because no one can point you, oh, that's not true. What you're saying is not good, because no, it's my experience. I lived it. How can you say it? It's not true, because you don't know what I did, how I face it, and so on. It's because no one can point you the finger if you are talking about what you did, what you lived, because no one can tell anything about it. Because if you are talking about a really specific topic, it could go wrong if you are starting, because you're nervous and you can change something which could be important and you messed up and it's not. So keep it simple. The setup, what you're saying because it's all about confidence, as we said. It's not about the camera, it's confidence. And if you are not enough confident to start talking over, people will notice, and you maybe messed up. And the problem is, if you on the first attempt you go wrong, maybe it was the last time you make live stream.
That's what my motto for years, Marco, since working with kids in television has been, because I lived in Australia for a while as well, and I was training young TV presenters from 16 through to 80 back then. I always said, you have to learn to stuff up with confidence and get over it right here, right now. Stop focusing in the, where did I go wrong? Oh, that was wrong. Oh my gosh, I misquoted that. Oh, I can't remember who said that quote. Start using your own quotes, create your own quotes. As our speaker, Patricia Fripp, she's one of the world's leading speaker coaches. And as she always says, find repeatable quotables, repeatables, and retweetables. Short sentences that people can follow up on and repeat and remember where they got it from. So my comment was always stuff up, mess up with confidence and get over it. That's my number one tip on that one. Because you've got to have, if you can't laugh at yourself, who are you going to laugh at? Or laugh with. And I love this man's laugh.
It's for instance, and maybe we will talk about it later. It's the feedback and the perception of others. To my mother, you know what I do? I stand in front of a camera, laughing and speaking other languages, because most of my shows are not on my native language. But what the hell are you doing? Laughing to the camera? Is that your work? Really?
I remember you said that, your mother and your sister, everybody go, you just giggle on camera, you laugh on camera. And I'm going, yay, I love it, I love it, I love it. But the other thing is, Marco, is you can do that. Well, hello, hats off, because you do live streams in Portuguese, in Spanish, and you're looking for a Spanish presenter to connect with. So if anybody is a Spanish presenter, especially if maybe you're in America or you're somewhere else in the world and you speak Spanish, Marco is looking for a partner in crime or a partner in laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Portuguese, Spanish, English, just to name 3 languages. My Portuguese is limited to obrigada. I think it's obrigada because I'm a female, not obrigada.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it.
Thank you for doing that. But I know, yes, we are going to talk about feedback. That's our topic. Our topic coming up in a bit. But I loved your next tip that we discussed yesterday, because it's kind of linking to that. Even if other people are laughing at you, I think we need to maintain that confidence that we can laugh at ourselves, yes, but with other people. That we don't have to get caught up in pettiness and rivalries. And I always talk about # collaborate over compete gives you far more power. And you came up with a sentence yesterday talking about how to progress, who to follow, and some basic skills that you need about how you respect yourself live. So can you explain what you mean by that, how to respect yourself, and why does that fit in with the confidence of going live?
I guess it's about 2 things. One, you should respect your progress. I mean, if you are starting today, you should not put yourself in the same stage that someone who's making this for a living or about years, because it's not the same. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to you.
We used to say at Ladies Go Live, Marco, we used to say start to go live, then grow live, then Pro Live. So there's, and then our final session was always talking about how you thrive live. But we always talk about there's the Go Live, the Grow Live, the Pro Live levels. Know which level you fit at. And I think be okay with that, Marco. Isn't that your core message there?
Sorry?
The core message you have is whatever your level, don't try too hard to follow that expert. Be you at your level, because there's going to be other people needing you and wanting you at that level that you need.
And one thing, for instance, and for me it's very important, this the thing people used to say, be authentic on the camera, be you. For me, the meaning of this is, if someone you know on the street sees on the camera, he sees the same person. It's just that for me, because it's not a rocket science thing. For me, to be authentic on the camera, it's to be you. If someone who knows you for 100 years sees you on the camera, he says or she says it's the same person. It's not a character. It's not a movie character. It's Marco. It's Lottie. For me, it's really, really important to respect that, which comes to the second thing, which is respect your identity, because by now it's really easy to search for live streamers on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitch, and you can try to stick to that style. But as we used to hear, the other positions are already taken. So be yourself. If you're not so funny, well, you can improve a little bit, at least smile, which is good. But respect your identity, because the way you do it, I used to give as an example the song My Way, which for me it's an amazing song. And for me, and I guess for most of the people, the best one thing singing that song was Frank Sinatra. But I believe that maybe if Shakira sings that song, I guess that lots of people will like most the version of Shakira. So don't think because some live streamer has hundreds or thousands of followers or millions of followers, don't think that if you don't make the same style, you couldn't afford or get as many followers as him or her, because someone will like your style, someone will appreciate your style, someone will love the way you put things on the microphone and on the screen. So, and it's really, because one thing you should think about it, it's really, but really, really, really hard to keep pretending so many times in front of a camera, because if you are pretending you're something you're not, one day it will show up and people will get disappointed. So don't try to be someone you're not.
Totally agree, and it's fascinating. I've been off doing some typing while Stephen's put you up solo on screen, and I love Sebastian. Oh no, by the way, thank you for commenting, because one of the simple and easy starts, as you said in your number 2 topic, how to start easily, is to ask people. Please, you can leave your questions, anything you want to say. Thank you very much to Sebastian for quoting, because I was talking about the quotables, repeatables, retweetables. Thank you for quoting us, because that is one of the easiest ways to feel more confident immediately on camera is, even if there's only one person, as Chocolate Johnny always says from Australia, he actually covers up the numbers that says how many people are watching live, because he says, and as I always talk about when I'm training people on screen or on stage, if you can reach and connect through the camera lens to that one person who really needs help from you, guidance from you, advice, connection, collaboration with you as the lifestyle presenter, then you've done a brilliant job. They may get in touch with you, follow up with you in different ways. And because we were talking, tomorrow, I was going to go on to tomorrow's topic, which is about conducting interviews and how you find the people to come on a show. But hey, Marco, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but I'm sure you're always available for people. But we'll give you tips tomorrow on how you approach people to ask them to be your guests. Because if they are an expert in their field, then you need to have a slightly more subtle approach for that. But it's all part and parcel of respecting your own identity. I love that quote from you, Marco, because I think the power that you have, the power we have as presenters comes from knowing who we are, knowing what our knowledge and skills is, knowing our limitations, but also that constant learning that we need to go through, to grow through. And I know I've been doing this for a few years now. I train young speakers and young at heart speakers for the old speakers who are doing this. But I love the fact that yesterday in the repurposing show, the gents were talking about different tools for different age groups. Knowing the tool, knowing where your audience is, knowing the tools that they're going to find you, whether you're doing this for a community project, whether you're doing this to grow a business. And as I've been having to learn this year, whether you're doing this to connect with people who are going through similar issues to you. And I think linking that to the top topic of the fears to overcome is always knowing you're never alone. There's always people out there who want to actually be there with you, want to help you succeed. And I love our community since the Blab days. I remember one day, I don't know if you were there, Marco, when suddenly there was somebody coming in and being really, really rude to the presenter. I can't remember who it was. It might be Jonathan Tripp. And being so rude, and some of the women being so sexist and so horrible. And we, as viewers and the audience, were in there going, how dare you? Let's ban this person from Facebook. They're so rude. We were self-policing. So I think that links in really nicely to your respect for yourself. I would say is know your level, yes, that you said, Marco, but also learn from the levels of people who are that step above you. Who do you want to aspire to be like? And remember that not everybody's going to like you.
Absolutely.
Learn that.
Absolutely.
Can't please blooming everybody. You know that from all your social media expertise, Marco.
Absolutely, because as I used to say, I say all the day, even Jesus Christ didn't like had some haters. Why you don't? it's stupid. Because
absolutely, totally agree with you.
I think it's Guy Kawasaki which said, if you don't make a hater till noon, you're not doing your marketing well. I guess it's something like this. If you're not,
it was something like that. Take the ownership for it. If you're not doing it by noon, you're not doing well. Or if you're not getting haters by noon, you're not doing it well enough.
Because, for instance, one day, I had a live recorder, and someone arrived there and started. It was already recorded. Started doing comments. Haters, a troll, and I was working on the computer, and the notifications started popping, and one was, it was in Spanish. Some Spanish classes will go really good for you, but in a not so polite way. And he was a friend of mine on Facebook, and I asked, was that for me? And he said, yeah, it was for you. And I said to him, well, my Spanish is better than your Portuguese. Oh, okay, but you should not pretend to talk in Spanish and so on. And you don't like it, don't watch it.
People can always turn off. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
and before I'm doing it, was wondering then if I was doing a Lottie. Normally, this is doing a Lottie, by the way, folks. I'm still talking. I know it happened. I spotted it happened to Stephen yesterday. That you've forgotten to unmute yourself. So that's a quick confidence tip. Remember, if you've got tools, when you are upgrading your tools, if you have a microphone with a little color button, I can see red means I'm on. No, and that's not. If it's flashing, I'm not on, but I'm on. So that always helps me. But I think that's another nice tip to know about the confidence is we'll go into this again, as I said, tomorrow in the interview shows where the lovely Linda Sunshine West is going to join us tomorrow as well. But I love the ability that you can actually mute your microphone so that, because part of our responsibility when we are presenters, the confidence from doing and starting easily that you said at the very beginning, Marco, is the fact that, yes, if you just start here, but when you move up to the next step, you want to be having tools that you're not hearing the typing while you're going, or the confidence that Marco and I have today, that Stephen is doing our production for us, this is kind of getting to the more pro level, that you're going live to more than one place. Start with Facebook Live. Start with going live with the camera. Make it easy for yourself always, as Marco was saying. But then when you move on to the next level, watch the people at your level, respect your skill level. That was topic number 3, respect yourself live. And then own your identity. We've been touching on that, but I really want Marco to talk now is, how do we know our own expertise? Where do we go to get the help from? And Marco, how do you ask for feedback that's going to support you as a live stream? You're kind of touching on it then about your mum joking about you, or your friend going, yeah, your Spanish is terrible. So I'll share mine after you, but how do you, and when do you, and who do you go to ask for positive feedback? And what's the difference between negative feedback and positive feedback for our confidence?
Well, the difference is positive feedback. For me, it's, even though it's not, oh, you're perfect, it's someone that you can start doing something on, because to improve. Because one thing that could happen if you are asking to your family, to your friends, to closest people, is because they don't understand what you're doing, your way, your path. They don't understand what you're building. They may, okay, it's nice, okay, keep doing, or like happened with me at home. What the hell are you doing? Sitting in front of a camera speaking to the people? Is that your work? Really? Do you think that live streaming will become something? In my opinion, you should ask for help, for feedback to 2 kinds of people. Those who already made your path, because they understand the point you are now, the point you should be tomorrow and the day after, and so on, because they understand, they know your pain, they know how you're suffering about the way you're doing, and they could give you advice to get better. One kind of people. The other kind, it's your client. They should understand what you're talking about. They should engage with your way to doing things, the way you're speaking, the kind of content you are giving. If your type of client, your customer, doesn't understand you, you should change something, because it's about it. You are talking every time you're talking to the camera. You should be aware that your target market, your buyer persona, your client, your customer should understand you, should watch you, and well, this is for me, this how this could help me, or oh, okay, this guy knows, or this girl knows a lot about it, let me call him to be my trainer, my coach, and so on. That's for me the two kinds of people which give you the best feedback. Someone who already made your way, who already went to that pains and that stuff, and your buyer target or your audience, which you are talking to, and not your family, because family and friends are good, but they some of them, well, okay. For instance, with me, lots of people saw me on the street. Oh, you're not going live now? Oh, you should do a live stream now, and should make a live stream, like a kind of joke, like they were saying, "Oh, you're stupid. That's your work, doing live stream. Go get a life." And so I think it's from who you should ask nice and proper feedback.
Hear me again, Marco? Oop.
Sorry?
Have you got me now? Maybe that's Stephen muting me the other end.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay,
No,
great. I'm not sure if my mute button isn't working now, so it may be Stephen's muting me now. Not just me doing a Lottie, it's Stephen doing a Lottie with Lottie. No, I loved what you're saying then, is because like you and I were saying in our chats beforehand, I always talk about, in my book, Confidence on Camera, I talk about confidence on asking for feedback. So it's the who. People that and you've already given us, I loved your people on your path. I had to comment with that, and customers to check that they understand you. But if you're starting off, you might not have customers or clients, but you may have people whose opinion you value, whether that be a university lecturer or a great friend who is also a housewife, designing pens with you, or writing a book or something with you. Oh yeah, there's a book. Writing something with you, creating a show with you. Is ask that person, but find the right time. As I always said, it was my husband who said to me, darling, please never ask me for my opinion on something when I've just walked in the door from a really long day out. Because I'm just going to go. I want the male. I now understand he needs cave time. As a man, you might know what that is, Marco.
Absolutely.
Go inside yourself and a bit of peace and quiet. So I always say, find somebody who's already smiling with you to ask them for feedback. And when I talk about connecting through the camera lens, I always say to people, think of who is that person who's sitting on the other side, listening to you going, oh my God, wow, that's a brilliant idea, Marco. Tell me more. Oh, that's the best idea you've had yet. Who's that person? Who's your biggest champion to help you? Because we want to find the trolls. I think we've been very good at getting rid of trolls since Blab days. I really do. But the supporters that we all need, because I don't know in your world, Marco, but I find that it's other people who say the best and most constructive things about me, not me, because I'm the first person to go, oh no, yeah, but.
My voice sounds weird.
I say it's the devil on the shoulder. There's the judgment devil on one shoulder, and there's the perception angel coming down, like you said at the start, shining the light on us. What's the perception that if you're delivering your best information that you've spent years creating, and you know it from your experience in your world, and there are other people who want to share that experience with you together and collaborate together, then you can never be wrong, because you wrote it. They didn't write it, you wrote it.
Yeah, that's for instance, it happens to me. Not now, because now I guess they don't even try to make it. But a year ago, people comes to me, reach me out. Oh, Marco, I think if you do the show like this, it could be better. And I answer them, really? Do you think that doing this, and this, it will be better? Oh yeah, do it. I will see how it works, and I will go and do the same. Because it's easy when you are on the other side to have opinions, to tell, oh, do like this, like that, and so on. But that's not me. That's how I make it the thing. Because I can't. I don't know if you know a story. It's a kind of a moral story about an old man, a kid, and a donkey. They went through a way, and in the first village they passed through, the people were saying, "Oh, so silly! The donkey is not carrying anyone," and they go walking, so silly, both of them. Then the old man put the kid in the top of the donkey. They went through the next village. Oh, look at this! The kid, a young boy, there, and the old man, poor, tired, very old, and he's walking, and it doesn't make any sense. Then the old man took the boy from the donkey, and he jumps to the donkey. They went the way to the next village. Look at this! The old man there, like a king, and the poor boy walking through the road. It doesn't make any sense. They are crazy old men. Then the old man pushes the boy and puts it, and they go together, both of them, on the top of the donkey. They went through the next village, and the people say, "What the hell? Poor donkey! Look at them. The donkey really started pushing them all together there like two kings. It doesn't make any sense." So whatever you do, whatever you say, someone will criticize you. That's it.
Absolutely. There's always going to be somebody there who can do that to you. And I think that's why it's our job to find the people, and they may be people in your life, real life, live, or they may be lovely people that you meet virtually that we've never met before, but you meet live. And I've had friends, Brigetti, living with pain, helping me through illnesses. I've got people who are sending me multiple sclerosis links and connections from women that I've met through Ladies Go Live in 2017 from Singapore. I've just had one of our young speakers who's won a $5,500 US scholarship from the wonderful live streamer Dr. I. Addison Zhang to go to Singapore from Ireland. He's 17 years old for this young entrepreneur immersion program, which hilariously is so similar to what we want to do for young and old speakers here in Ireland. My TEDx Dunleary partner in crime, Janie, and I, we're longing to do this. And I'm kind of going, I want to bring lovely people like this man over to help the positivity of speakers so that we can share our voices out there and reach a bigger, better world. Because I don't know what's happening in Portugal right now, Marco, but with everything that's going on in the UK, in the USA, with all the fears that people have about the environment, there are so many different topics. And in Ireland, we're kind of caught up, and being with an English accent in Ireland, caught up in Brexit. And I'm now not saying that I'm British. I'm saying that, sorry, Stephen, I know you're I'm saying I'm European, or I'm saying I live in Ireland. I was Scottish. I've got a New Zealand passport as well, so I can be a Kiwi. I can be a Kiwi sometimes too. But I think, look, I've just seen the time, and if we're going to be around about a 45-minute show, that I know Brigetti was saying ideally would be great. Loving the tips so far. Start easily, respect your own skill level and your own progress. Watch other people at your level, but learn from people who are better. Don't worry too much about the equipment. Start, just go for it. Respect your own identity. And the last thing that, with me having just shared that, and I'm loving your story, and with the donkey story and everything as well, Marco, is quick tip for the last 3 minutes. It's a huge, and it's a bugbear topic for me, because everybody in America is always saying, go, 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 go. You've got to work and work and work and work and work and work and work hard, hard, hard. Now. And I kind of go, that's what's got me into this shaky position. So what are your tips for when to, especially being European, because I love the whole siesta idea and everything. I don't know if you do that in Portugal, but what are your tips on when to know when to go, 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 and when to know it's time to slow? What are your tips on that, Marco?
Well, one thing that you should, I used to say that a live streamer is like a DJ. The key role of the DJ is to understand how people react to his music. If people are dancing, you're in the right way. If you start noticing your people get bored on the dance floor, change the music. And one thing it could happen to you. You have two things. One is overexposure. People will get tired of watching you on screen. It will come a time that you don't have any new ideas to share. Maybe, okay, I'll be talking about what? Well, the weather, it's fine, and it was a little bird went through my window and so on. It doesn't make much sense. And then you have your brains, which become tired. For instance, minds are tired by now, and your body. So respect also that. Listen, it's really important. Even though live streaming it's more a task about talking, it's really important to listen your audience and you. If you are feeling tired, if you feel if you don't stop thinking about the next thing, oh, I should come with new things. If you start thinking like this, maybe it's time to stop, or at least to slow down, because sometimes I feel this because the media, the social media, made this mindset hustle, go on, and it's not just about going on. It's about know where and how to go. I guess it's more important this, and with you will go, then just go, because I used to talk about some jobs here in Portugal, which are jobs maybe in Britain you did do this with machines, but we have hard work here, labor made with hands and arms, and people are doing this all day, all life, and they don't evolve they don't get rich, they don't get known. So it's really important to know how to slow down, and your body and your audience often says to you, okay, it's time to slow down.
Yeah, totally agree. And yes, I'm old enough to know what manual labour is, Marco. That's fine. But I think these are some of the talking about some of the fears that like the next generation and working with young people now. I'm so much into right now combining those knowledge and skills. And I loved what you said is know where and how to go. So I think the respect, it all links back into respecting yourself, respecting other people, respecting skills and respecting your skill levels, but then keep learning. If you want to know more, you've got to learn yourself. And for me, that's where I would say, Marco, is the go time, is actually when I'm involved and I'm learning and I'm like a sponge, just absorbing. I find that one person and I absorb everything I can from that person. Then, old quote that I learned as a speaker on stage in 2001 in Australia is, take the best and leave the rest. And by that, I mean, take the best for you. Take what works for you. Do it your way, because as you said at the very top of the show, Marco, we've got to know and respect our own way of doing it, and that is good enough. And I think only when you know that can you have the energy, the knowledge, skills, and again, this is another quote, with the knowledge and skills that I have right now, I'm doing the best that I can.
Absolutely.
With the knowledge and skills that I have right now, I'm doing the best that I can, whether that's a simple, easy job, whether that's tidying up the street, cleaning the snow for the old lady next door. When I was unemployed, I used to do that because I felt guilty taking money from the government and not doing anything. So I'd go and clean up the pavements outside the house. But there's little things that we all do, and when we do it thinking of that we are part of a community that is there to support each other, not dividing each other, when we work together to collaborate, the power comes from that in the sharing, the serving. As Tina, you'll see Tina on Friday, Tina Caveland always used to say at Ladies Go Live, serve, share and shine. You've got to find your moment. And we turned it into, what's your SAS? Your serve, share and shine moment. So it's probably time to finish up now, Marco. So I love your tips. And I want to add, go live, therefore, with a purpose. Plan it and go live with a purpose, but make it your purpose. So thank you. Any last thoughts before we finish off, Marco, about confidence on camera and how people can really, number one, help themselves first?
Well, first of all, don't think, as you told before, don't think you're talking to a camera. You're talking to someone who's on the other end, willing to learn from you. And to see you shine. It's something I used to say to people, and you give training to public speaking. And one thing I love, I don't give classes about public speaking, but I love the thrill of being on stage and talking to people. And one thing for me, it's for granted, it's people are there to learn from you, to see you shine, not to see you fail. They are there to learn from you, for you to inspire them. Don't disappoint them.
I love it. And I'm spotting fabulous comments from people just before we go, I'm spotting that you've got Web Summit tickets behind you from that moving to Lisbon. I was there at the very beginning doing the first interviews on the street outside the Web Summit when it was here in Ireland. So cannot wait to see you speaking more on stage and on screen, Marco. And quick thank you to everybody who's here. Comments. Kelly, thank you. Wardrobe malfunction could always add viewers. What we used to say at Ladies Go Live, I must say, Kelly. And Kelly says, I think you can use Pinterest to reach too. Never hear people talk about it much, though. I know, Kelly, you were talking about Pinterest and other alternative tools. If you're looking for tools and repurposing tools, please go back and watch Tuesday's show with Stephen, because that was fantastic. And thank you to Sebastian, talking about, the divisiveness, Little Britain right now. Oh. And Sebastian is agreeing, feedback is crucial, but remember to be authentic. Evolve, not change, or else you will lose the authentic you. And Stephen was saying, find somebody who's smiling with you. So as your smiling face is there, thank you very, very, very much, Marco, for coming live with Lottie. And we'll see this smiling face again tomorrow. Joined by the lovely Linda Sunshine West, who's been interviewing people all around the world. Were you doing interviews at the Web Summit as well, Marco?
No.
Not yet.
Yeah, maybe.
Not yet. So thank you very much. And adios. How do you say goodbye in Portuguese and Spanish and other different languages?
Adios.
It is adios.
Because here to Latin people, we adios means sending to God, because last four letters is Dios, God.
And that makes sense. Mon Dieu in French is Dieu is God. So
adieu is French, is Latin.
Yeah.
Spanish adios. In Portuguese adios. And in Italian, which is the other Latin language, addio.
Addio.
So it means adios to God. So adios.
And as a person in Ireland who doesn't necessarily believe in all of that, I'll just say to God, we all have our own God inside us, and we're all here supporting each other. So, all right, folks, let's finish up now. Thank you very, very, very much, Marco. Stephen Healy, are you going to jump back in?
Come on, Stephen. Thank you, Lottie.
Jump back in and wave. Tell us.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow.
To provide me such a good partner.
Bye.
Bye-bye.